Course Hero was co-founded by Andrew Grauer, his two brothers, and a classmate of his at Cornell, Gregor Carrigan, in 2006. And it started and still is really this online library, a collection of class notes, essays, exams for students, uploaded by students.
Before Course Hero, I spent hours looking for help online when I was stuck on homework or studying for tests. Ever since a friend told me about Course Hero, it's the only tool I use for every course. I just drop in whatever I'm working on.
We started Course Hero about 17 years ago in 2006, and the whole idea was born out of helping students study and helping students who are studying for a test, prepping and working on an assignment and feeling stressed, feeling anxious. And it was something that I had empathy for being a student myself. I experienced it. And so really when we built it, the idea was, how can we best build something that would help students study? And the lucky and most important thing that we got right was that we started, we just did it, and we kept building. In the beginning of Course Hero, we focused on crowdsourcing resources, study materials, test prep materials, materials helping people with homework from students and educators across different campuses. And the idea was, can we connect people to knowledge that came from other people versus having to go to people to get to the knowledge? And the visual in our heads was to build a Wikipedia-like product that, instead of organized around an encyclopedic taxonomy, we would build a product that was organized around a course-specific, school-specific taxonomy.
Course Hero is a Forbes 30 under 30 company, and with all of those companies, we like to stay in touch, and we were seeing the acquisitions Course Hero was making in recent years, and then how they created their new parent company, Lerneo, in late 2022, and so really jumped on that news and became even more interested in his strategy, his acquisitions, and just how they're pivoting. Course Hero began acquiring companies in 2020 with its first acquisition of Lab, and since it has acquired 7 businesses, and it really was a combination of things that led them to this strategy of acquisitions. First, they're facing increased competition in the EdTech space. Another factor was a surge in venture capital during the pandemic. Course Hero raised nearly $500 million total by the end of 2021, and so that capital is really used for their acquisitions. Another factor, with college enrollment decreasing, it led the company to look for ways to diversify, and so that was through acquisitions of companies like Phobot and Symbolab focused on professionals. And so the company, now rebranded under Lerneo, is focused on adhering to both students and professionals. How do you take that core clientele and carry it on through the work world?
Building Lerneo and acquiring different businesses that are founder-led with really entrepreneurial builder teams is incredibly important. At Lerneo, the idea of building a platform of businesses and founders, each continuing to be led by their CEOs, is a belief that decentralization and delegation of autonomy is incredibly powerful. And each of the CEOs are able to focus on building for a closely clustered set of customer needs. They can go incredibly deep, and they don't have to worry about another teammate or potential future teammate being able to take on an incredible new opportunity. And that's the opportunity to be able to balance going super deep and also broadening and going after new opportunities. It takes an incredible amount of time and energy, passion, to be able to start something, work on it, build it over time, get product market fit, get to expansion phase. And for us, that is something we want to really facilitate and continue post-acquisition. For us, creating an environment that empowers autonomy and responsibility, entrepreneurialism, just like when we're startups individually, is incredibly powerful. And that's core to how we want to build Lerneo as a platform of businesses that are powered by founders, builders, and entrepreneurial talent.
Rohan Gupta is a co-founder of Quillbot, which is essentially an AI-powered writing and paraphrasing tool for both students and professionals. It was founded in 2017 and acquired by Lerneo in late 2021.
My co-founder and I were studying at the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. We both were in love with artificial intelligence, and we were just tinkering with the technology, made a breakthrough in technology to rewrite sentences. Thought it was pretty interesting, just put it up on Reddit, and it started going viral, and that's how we founded Quillbot. Back when we started in 2017, there was not a lot of support for building AI tools, especially compared to what it's like to build on top of AI today. And yeah, back then we were just, the three of us were tinkering in an apartment on campus. We had next to no funding. We just had a small grant from the university. So we had to be very scrappy, and it was just a green field, and every day was a new experiment. I met Andrew in the winter of 2020. It was really exciting. I was a user for Course Hero for several years, and so it was nice just meeting him as a fan, and then as a fellow entrepreneur, understanding his experiences and getting advice from him. It completely changed our trajectory. I mean, one thing is just having access to so many brilliant founders and CEOs to share best practices with and learnings from. It's also been a privilege to be able to partner with some of the best writing businesses in the sector and collaborate with them on new product development. And finally, we just have access to way more resources than we would have otherwise. Every single business has a unique culture and a unique way of operating, and it's you can think of it as many different experiments being run at the same time. So seeing what works for another business and how I can apply it to my own has been invaluable, especially because everyone within Lerneo is so transparent about what's working well and what's not.
Some of the challenges in the evolution of building out Lerneo from one business to a platform of now 8 companies have to do with how can we make sure that we stay true to our operating principles of empowerment and responsibility. We think there's a huge value in being a decentralized platform and creating autonomy for the different businesses. And as you scale from not just running one business with multiple product lines to 2 to 4 to 8, being able to create an operating model that is effective at each of those stages is an incredible challenge, and also something really fun to solve.
The pandemic saw an increase of venture capital specifically in the EdTech space, and so now companies are kind of dealing with the decrease in that. From 2021 to 2022, it nearly halved. It went from 20.8 billion to 10.6 billion, and so companies are dealing with less venture capital out there right now. College enrollment has decreased the last 3 years as students, and Gen Z particularly, are rethinking the value of a college degree. And that means, declined customers for EdTech companies like Lerneo. And so companies like Lerneo are asking themselves, how do you diversify in this space? And so they're focused more on professionals as well as students. And so Lerneo's acquisitions of Quillbot, Symbolab, indicate that trend of professionals using EdTech tools like these. With artificial intelligence tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google's Bard popping up, it's really created just a lot of competition for these education technology companies like Course Hero and Chegg. I think with so many students and professionals looking for resources for maybe school reports or business reports, they're looking for more of a free option that maybe ChatGPT can provide rather than a subscription service like Chegg or Course Hero. Chegg was kind of an extreme example there where they had said ChatGPT affected signups, it ended up plummeting stock, and really just with these tools, it's creating a lot of competition for, customers, both professionals and students looking for tools like this.
Artificial intelligence is an incredible theme, an opportunity and disruption in the world today. And at Lerneo, we're incredibly excited about how these technologies and transformer-based technologies, large language models, are impacting language, summarization, translation, question generation, question answering. And I'm not sure I've ever seen a time in our history of building where there's so much opportunity and a huge amount of energy being developed to act fast and with conviction and to iterate on a huge technological change.